Good afternoon, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Wisdom Circle. It's our third. I can't believe it. It's our third. Isn't it great? I'm Priscilla. This is my buddy Heather, and my other buddies Terri and Jean joining us today. So I wanted to give you a rundown about what the Wisdom Circle is all about. We'd like to welcome our fellow circle members. Well, we have two missing today, Terri, Lee, and Joan. Uh, just circumstances beyond their control. They can't be with us today, but we do have our SunPsychic Jean and Kigaru Terri. So that's wonderful. We're a group that gather together monthly as a discussion group of women regarding awakening, awareness, and ascension. All of our favorite topics, right? Our goal is to share, support, and validate each other as well as others who are following a spiritual path. We're here to share and discuss spiritually related theories, experiences, information, and perspectives from diverse backgrounds and points of view. We hope to make you laugh, to feel included, and maybe gain some insight or perspective on whatever is happening to you on your spiritual path. Our individual paths are unique. No two of us are the same. So please take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. And remember, this is for entertainment and spiritual purposes only. So, with that, today's about astral travel. And who best to take us astral traveling or on a journey but Kigaru Terri? So, I'm going to turn it over to her. She is going to be the host today. And thank everybody in the chat on Facebook or YouTube for being here today. We really appreciate it.
And don't hesitate to write questions if you have a question about something we say.
Okay? Yes. Anybody in the chat, we would love your questions. Just make sure to put them with emojis and capitals so the crone eyes can see them. Thank you.
Wow. Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. We're all excited for. Oh, hi, Viben's here. Hi, Viben. Thanks for being here.
Oh, I love
Amanda
it.
Carroll, Sharon Sipe, White Dragon, Linda DeGales. De Gonzalez.
Ours is taking a while.
G Covington. So yeah, they'd all just populated all at once.
Mine hasn't popped in yet.
There we go. Yay.
Everybody's here.
That's what I was saying. It's all on my side, but it's not up there yet.
Oh, wow. Hi, Sharon Sight, White Dragon. Hi, Vibin. Thank you. Hi, Vibin. I had the best reading from her the other day. Oh, my God. This woman is incredible. The energy work, it was amazing. Changed my life. Seriously. Who else is here? Sharon Sight, thank you, sweetie. I'm Lady Soul. Hi, Lady Soul.
Hi, Lady
Amanda Carroll.
And Amanda Carroll.
Oh, lovely.
Thank you all for joining us. It's so special. It brings up the energy. It brings up the vibrations for sure.
It really does.
And it spurs on the conversation.
And it does spur on conversation. So if you all have any comments you want to make regarding our subject today, which is astral travel and journeying, please put them in all caps. And we'll love to include you in it. You know that. So over to you, Miss Terri.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to talk about this. And I just want to back up what Priscilla said is I am not an expert on astral travel, but I tend to do it a lot. So I'm just bringing forth what I know and sharing it with you. And hopefully you'll share your experiences too. Right now, I'm in a really, really excellent spot because all of these ladies have gone on a journey with me before.
That's true. That's true. We have.
Yeah. So I think we got a lot to talk about. So I kind of wanted to start off by what do I mean by astral travel or spiritual journey? And for me, what it means is a visit to the other side. It is an internal experience. I'm not popping out of my body. Now, some people do, but that's not what's happening with me, at least. That I'm going in what I suppose is my astral body on this journey, and just because there's so many different terms out there, and it gets so confusing.
It really
I
does.
thought I might talk about them a little bit. So let's go over here. I have a few slides. So I'm going to be using interchangeably astral travel or spiritual journey.
Okay.
And this is just a little heads up on what we're going to talk about. You know, some
This is
definitions, what
lovely.
happens, why would you want to go? Is it safe? How to go? So we've already talked about this, that it's just a visit to the other side, an internal experience. I kind of want to talk about some other definitions because that they get kind of all wrapped up together and it's hard, you know, it's just, I think the reality is none of us completely know what we're doing here, but astral travel.
That's pretty safe to say.
Yeah, it's like me when I go somewhere, I just go there. I don't know how. I'm just there.
Right. Me too, mostly.
Yeah.
Lucid dreaming shares some parts of this where the conscious and the subconscious meet together. I believe as a kid, I probably was doing a lot of this and probably helps me on this journey. There's astral projection or out of body experiences. That is not what I'm doing in this particular case, but I have had out of body experiences before.
Mhm.
And the way they differ is interesting. So when I was in the 4th grade, I went on an out of body experience. I remember riding my bike up my driveway and having my dad start to cross me over a 4-lane road. And then from there, my consciousness separated from my body and I flew over my body as I went on this little bicycle outing and then proceeded to break my front teeth in half. So it was a big wreck, but I was above watching myself. So I was in 2 places. And after the wreck, I rejoined my body, but was out consciously. So there are differences. When I'm doing this, the spiritual journey, I am still me. I'm not out of my body. I'm not watching my body. So I think that's somewhat of the difference there.
That's really interesting. I had never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had
Because I
another.
totally feel it internally, not like I'm out in space with or in the astral. I always feel like it's within when we travel with you.
Right. It's very different. I had another experience where that it was, well, Jean and I talked about this one. I don't think it was astral projection. I think this one was more like slipping kind of in between the quantum realms, but I got bad news that I was going to be a teenage unwed mother and I fainted. And while I was out only 10 minutes, I actually spent a whole 3-day weekend at my grandmother's house. I got in my
Wow.
car. I drove the 5 hours to get there, rode horses, had food, did all sorts of fun things with my grandma, then drove the 5 hours back and woke up on the floor.
Wow.
Um,
That's
so,
amazing.
so that probably wasn't out of body, but it probably was some sort of
Dimensional shift.
yeah, because the time doesn't match up.
Right.
10 minutes versus 3 days. So
Mhm.
a little different
Or
there.
maybe you jumped into an alternate timeline. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Interesting.
I wasn't looking at me, I was me in that one. I think remote viewing has a little bit of a shared properties, but we'll hear more about that from Heather because she can do that.
Yeah,
Right.
I do that.
Yep. And in some ways, the journey I'm talking about is similar to shamanic journeys, that you're going to go somewhere, your consciousness goes somewhere. They often meet with higher beings, learn stuff. usually you get there through chanting and some sort of rhythmic way.
Drumming or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's similar to that. But I just wanted to talk about those so that we can kind of get some of those things out of the way. So how did I do this? Well, so after I discovered that I could, take all these gifts that I had all my life and actually do something with them, then this is something that started happening to me in meditation. Now, I'm not a great meditator. I am completely not. My mind is doing a million things, but it seemed like that what my guides were saying, if you could just hold still, not think of anything for 2 minutes, we're going to be good. So the first time I tried that and was able to kind of hold my mind still for 2 minutes, I went on a journey. I went up into what I call the celestial heart of the galaxy and got upgrades and gifts and got to have a lot of fun. And it was just really cool. But, that's one thing about me is though this is all so new to me. So I had to call up my friend, Jean, right away, like, Jean, what happened? What was that? And she's like, I want to go. I want to go. And I'm like, well, okay.
I want to go.
Yep.
I love it.
So actually every month since then, Jean and I book a journey together and we just the two of us go. It's a co-read type of thing. I think this is what I kind of think. I think Jean and I are somehow related in spirit, and
No doubt.
we can co-read. Jean can lead this journey, or I can lead this journey. We both of us can are part of it. We see what each other sees, and it's
A beautiful thing.
yeah. It's just amazing. So I'm going to.
Do you have anything in the chat we want to that needs to be
here?
I'm starring a couple questions.
No, I
think
saw that. Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Terri has breaks in there for questions. So
Okay, great.
when she's ready, I'll pop them up.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. I will kind of let you do that part. So I just want to show you, let's see, why won't the slide come back up? There it is. Okay. So generally on my journeys that I've been on, there is 6 things that generally happen. And this is where you ladies can chime in, and some people in the audience have actually been on a journey with me. So the first thing that often happens is travel. So I think my guides just want to entertain me. I think that they know I have the most outrageous imagination possible. I really do. I have not only just outrageous imagination, I'm curious. So if they start to show me something rather than go away because I'm scared, I'm like, what is that? Tell me about that, And so I have gone on these journeys in sailing ships, old sailing ships, where that they meet me at the pier and they usher me on a ship and away we go. I was once in a bus that looked like it was like from the 1920s. I did a little research later. It looks like a Mercedes-Benz bus. It was very plush.
Cool.
I have, and on that particular journey, not only did we go by bus, the driver was Hathor.
Oh,
A goddess from Egypt. I noted there was something going on there, and then later figured out who it was. Let's see, what else? We've gone on whales. I've ridden a whale through a portal. I've ridden in a big pink peony where it was like this massive peony that opened up and there were seats inside. And I swear I almost heard like, "Get in, loser." And so I did. Now, they were not saying I was a loser, but they're being funny with me. So basically, whatever mode of transportation they present with me, I get in.
I think the times I've been with you, it was a whale.
Yeah, you've been on the whale one. Oh, recently I rode a dragon ley line.
Oh, yes, we were on that.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
yeah, you rode the dragon too.
Yeah, I rode the dragon as well.
Yeah. So I think that maybe they provide this transportation to engage our imagination
Yeah.
to get us there. I also have been just there, where they just take me to the bottom step of wherever I'm going.
Hmm.
That's okay too. And the nice thing is usually if they're taking me to where we're going, they also dress me up. So I have a good spiritual wardrobe over there.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
I never look down at myself. I never think to look to see how I'm dressed. I never think
It's,
about that.
yeah, it's because what I was
Or even
wearing.
if I have a body. You know?
Hmm. I think it was because what I was wearing priest's robes, and they were a little bit
Hmm.
stiffer than the clothing I would normally wear.
Interesting.
And it made me look down because I'm like, what? How come I'm not as mobile as usual?
Right.
Right. And then
Cool.
the other thing that often happens on a journey that when I've been journeying is an upgrade or a healing.
Always.
Yeah. And so wherever they take me or a group that I'm going with, they find some way to give us a healing, and it usually happens directly after travel. Um, so when they take me up in the stars, or what I call the celestial heart of the galaxy, there's like a little star bed. It's like a long couch, and a lot of times when we go there, they set us on the couch, or if I'm alone, they lay me down on the couch. And the being operating the bed often comes by, puts their hands over me and kind of reads my body. And then they either shine some colored light into me, or they just shine white light into me, like maybe an energy upgrade or something. It does make me feel better, but maybe because you're traveling, maybe your spirit needs a little extra help or something. So
Hmm.
I think, Priscilla, when we went on your journey, didn't they provide us with glasses of this colored liquid based on what we needed, and they wanted us to pour it over us?
I think one of them was that. Yes.
Yeah.
Then on another one, it seemed like we drank something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes we drink it.
And
Sometimes.
sometimes it seems like there's a light that just shines
Yeah.
on our heads,
Yeah. Oh, I noticed in the
our
star
higher
bed.
chakras.
Yeah, our star bed, usually they open the crown chakra up
Yes.
like a little hatch and pour something in.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always cool. Um,
And you can feel it. You can feel it. Whether it's dripping down your face or if you're drinking, I mean, it's really happening. You can feel it happening. It's interesting.
yeah. Yeah. It's very real.
Hmm.
And I try really, since I'm clairvoyant, I can see all this. This is all like a movie. It's like I'm really there, really experiencing these things and seeing it. I try to describe this as much as possible because we all have different clairs.
Yes, I'm not clairvoyant, and if you didn't describe it, I don't know what would happen. I don't know if I would just create it myself or if it would just be a black screen. But I have aphantasia, so I can't visualize. To me, visualization is great, pure and simple. However, I have other gifts that I either know it or I feel it. I can smell it, taste it. But the clairvoyance, I can't see. Every now and then I'll see colors. So what I do is I feel it from what you say.
Yeah.
And I think I have just as much fun and as good as experience as anyone else that can see. But I just don't happen to have that gift.
Yeah.
But I can feel it like I see it. And if I tell you about it, I'm going to tell you I saw it, even though that's not quite right, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's like me. I'm claircognizant, but I'm not clairaudient. But so claircognizant is them talking directly mind to mind to me. So to make it easier for people, I say I hear. I did not hear anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's just easier to understand.
Right. And Heather, didn't you mention just before the show that your vision comes in a little bit later?
Yeah. If I'm looking around and what I find is, and explaining what I'm seeing, I don't really see it until I've said it out loud, and then I can see it.
That's
And I will keep looking around, and I know something's there, and I know what it is. And when I say it, I can see it. So it's kind of weird. I don't actually see it until I've already recognized this is it. This is it. This is what I see here. This is what I see here. And as I say it, I can hear it, and I can go back and look over all of it again. But it's usually not right there. I know it, and I'm totally aware of what it is.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And
I and usually she'll ask me to talk about what I see, and half the time when I'm talking to her about what I see more because at myself I wasn't registering it in. I was, other than yes, I know it was there, but as I talk about it, I realize there's also this and this and this, and I keep talking about it, and I can see that much more.
And of course, I ask lots of questions.
That's very similar.
Good.
That's very similar to me too, Heather. I think it's once we open up that vessel, once we open up that channel, once we allow that information to start coming in, and once we say the first things that we're glimpsing, it just opens up and starts pouring through. And it's a conduit, it's a hollow bone, it's a channel, it's that information, and it's almost filtering through as you're saying it. And the words coming out of your mouth, you're hearing them for the first time because of how fast the information comes through. Brilliant. Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks, ladies. I didn't know that. That's how it worked.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Well, I just wanted to point those things out because there's no wrong way to do it. Okay.
Right.
It happens a lot of ways.
We're all different. That's for sure.
Yeah. Let's see if we can. Oh my goodness. No. There we go. Oh, okay. It came back. So a lot of times there is an element of play or fun and information. So what I've noticed is that they seem to need to have to entertain me a little. And so they always incorporate some play or some fun in this. And usually I've noticed that the play or fun comes right before information. So the information is heavy duty information. This is really high spiritual information that you get.
Secrets of the universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Secrets of the universe.
Yes. And so I think that they need to soften us up with play. So it's kind of a lot of fun. A few times they've mixed it up where that comes afterwards, but they seem to always want to have a little bit of play. And Jean and I have talked to talking donkeys before that were so funny. We rode music notes like pogo sticks through the universe.
I love
You know,
that.
because it creates vibration, it creates you know,
The
frequency.
frequency, yeah.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And what else? I'm trying to think what other fun things. One time we with the group we were at a playground and we got to play on the playground, and it wasn't necessarily a super different playground, but there was some sort of curly cue thing, and it was a little play set that you could use, kind of go back and forth in the past and the future. It was kind of
Wow.
fun. And our good friend Allie, she was on a teeter-totter, and she had her 30-year-old son on the other side, and he'd go up and he'd be 3, he'd go down, he'd be 30. And she
How
she
fun.
had a grand time doing that. Um, there's just always something fun.
One of
Something.
the times when I was with a group with you, we were in the ocean and we got to pick what we wanted to be. I was
Yes.
an orca, and somebody swam in front of me. A turtle swam in front of me, and I don't know who it was, but a turtle swam in front of me and just kind of winked like, "Hi, I'm a turtle," and swam off. And I had no idea who was in the room that did that, but I was like, "Oh, this is too cool." It was
It
fun.
it was a ton of fun. I was a little seahorse, and I noticed that since I'm so little, if I'm by the top near the edge of the water, it's too much heat. So I
Wavy.
had to be down a little bit to see it, and that was fun. That was really fun. Um, and it was I think they know because I've been to that particular planet before times. They know that I'm very curious about what is it like to be at the surface of a water planet, like
Mhm.
what's there. And so that was a lot of. There's always something fun that we get to
Yeah,
do.
there always is. Well, actually,
Um,
the whole thing's fun to me, but
yeah.
from
The
beginning
the
to
next
end.
yeah the next thing we always get, which really seems to be the heart of why we're even going, is information.
Mhm.
So we after they've kind of healed us, got us there in style, healed us, then had us have a little bit of fun, and we're relaxed where we're at, then they bring in often a council of people or an ascended master, somebody very important that's going to give us really good information. Um, and it can be personal to the people going with me, like at a MeWe fair, somebody wanted to go on a journey and they didn't want to talk about their parents at all. They were completely like, that is completely verboten, no parents. But I want to hear from my
Right.
ancestors. So they, after all the things, what we ended up is in front of a council of 3 of her deep, really old ancestors. And they gave her such good information. It was just amazing. They gave her gifts, but also information, and that meant something to her.
Good.
And that was so cool. One time, I went on a journey with a lot of people, and we went in front of a whole crew of ascended masters with Jesus in the lead, and that was completely amazing. Um, Sometimes, like one of the ones that were just there was at a Japanese shrine, and the higher being that was talking to us was the priest, the main priest of the
Wow.
shrine. Um, and he was not only telling us things, but having us do things that healed us, that where we could um, manifest things. So just you are going to get some really high knowledge, some high information that's going to help you. And then the last thing that seems to be key in all the things is gifts. So I got this idea from medium Kim Copeland. She often has these little meditations, guided meditations, and even when we were in class, she often told us, "Okay, now," and she's taking us on this little. She's like, "Hold out your hands and ask if they have a gift for you." And when I go on these journeys, they always have a gift for me. And it's now happening that when I'm taking groups of people on gifts, they already pre-plan. I don't have to ask. Nobody has to ask anymore. They're like, "Okay, come in from the ocean." You know, we all left our fishy bodies and came back in, and they already had the gifts in a row for us. And the gifts are spiritual gifts that mean something to you. And a few people don't get them right away, but most of the time, especially if you're holding out your hands, you often can feel it enter your hand, and then you get a knowing of what it is in your hand. I now have like a backpack full of gifts, and they give me gifts that are useful. So if I'm reading somebody, then let's say an angel wants to do a healing, then they remind me, Terri, you got that cloak in your backpack. Take out the cloak and throw it around them. And then they instruct me what to do. I don't operate the cloak. I'm just there setting it up, and then I do what the angels tell me to do. I learned early on in this gift giving thing is that you should ask 3 questions right away when you get a gift. Do not delay this. First, thank them, and then ask them what it is, ask them what it does, and then ask them to demonstrate
how to use it.
How it works.
Because the first gift I got was a little dagger. It was a jeweled dagger. It was very sharp, but it also had a laser point at the top of the blade. And I didn't do any of that because it's the first time I ever got a gift. I'm just like, thanks, you know, and they did tell me that it cuts through to the truth. That's what it's supposed to do. I have never yet used it because I didn't. I tried to use it once, and I was reading somebody, and I thought, well, maybe this isn't the truth, and I whipped out the dagger, cut across, could look into their life, into their like internal being. And I realized, oh my God, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to see that. And I was able to use the tip of the dagger to like laser it together. I'm like, oops.
Wow.
But I still don't really quite know how to handle that one. So, yeah, so it's important to when you get the gift to ask what to do with it, or otherwise.
I wonder if it would cut through a portal. If you create a portal somewhere else, not in the person, but using it just in the ether.
Maybe if I ever got lost, I should whip that out and cut open a portal.
Because it sounds like one end cuts and the other end seals.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So, that is in general what I experience on a journey, and I have been able now. At first, it was just me. Then it was me and Jane, and then my guides have been telling me to say yes more often. And they led me one time to take 3 other ladies on a journey. And I mean, I didn't even know if I could do that, but I did it.
It was Can I interject just a little bit
Yeah.
here? It
Please.
was almost like she felt compelled. It was like they were urging her and insisting. And this is the feeling that we tell everybody to pay attention to. If you have like something like somebody's insisting on something, or you feel an urge, or you feel like a pulling, it was like she felt compelled. She's like, she didn't want to ask. She didn't want to ask. And they kept saying, ask, ask. And so she did. And everybody was so elated. Everybody was so agreeable with the offer, with the proposition. And so it was just such a beautiful opportunity. And she did this just because she was being compelled to do so. She felt the need. And then she had no idea that in her near future, she would be asked to do this live. And this was part of her training. This is how they teach us. This is how they give us these inspirations, and they try and guide us and have us start
That's
things
true.
and do
You're
things
absolutely right.
different, so that in the future we will be prepared. We don't know why sometimes things happen, or we need to say something or go somewhere or buy something or say hello to somebody, but it prepares us for in the future. And it's that building that trust, and following that guidance. I think that was really very strong
Mhm.
example of that. So
Perfect
thanks for
example of it.
jump in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I was surprised that they were so insistent with me. They asked me 3 times. The third time, because I was like, oh, that's not what we're supposed to be doing right now. Like I would know. Um, and
Yeah,
and
true.
the last time they were like, I almost felt them like a shove on the back of my head, and they yelled, ask, and I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
got it, but very insistent, and yeah, so from that journey, that was 4 of us going, including me, and then not too long afterwards, I was being interviewed by the MeWe Fair people to make this little ad. And she's like, well, what are you going to do at the fair? And she said, is that all? And for some reason, I didn't think clearly. And I said, well, I go on these astral journeys, but I probably won't be doing that there. And she's like, what do these journeys do? And I told her a little bit about it. And she says, you want to take a whole room full of people? we don't have any we
I
don't
love
have the talent for the night. Do you want to do it? And I'm like, my guides are there with that same urging,
her.
and there's
Boom,
like, say
boom,
yes,
boom.
say yes. So I said yes, and then I was like, immediately called up Jean, oh my god, did you know what I just said yes to?
And you nailed it, didn't you?
It was okay. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, it's different in person. There's a lot less, I had been doing it on Zoom, and there's a
Mhm.
lot more you can control on Zoom, like the noise levels and things like
Right.
that. But we went, and thankfully, Spirit worked me up to it. They encouraged me to do 4 test runs, and a lot of people in the audience that I see right now went with me in the test runs, and so it got
And
my
had a great time.
yeah, because once I got you on the email list, I'm like, I'll just keep emailing you. If you want to go, come. Because I wanted as many people to come as possible, because I knew once I got to that room, I would be able to
Well,
control.
considering that it was a room in a bigger room and the noise level, would you do it again?
I would, but I think before I did that, I think I would do it on Zoom with many, many people.
Right.
Like I tried to take, because we can control the noise a little bit better. But it happened as I expected, that some people could go on the journey completely, 100% in, and could see what I saw. Some people used their other clairs. Some people could smell, feel, sense.
Well, that's
You know?
interesting.
Yeah. And I did, when I did it in person, I had more time. Are you are you
No, we're
okay,
fine.
Heather? Okay. Um, and
She got it.
uh,
Okay.
So we did a little exercise to test their kind of clairs, like,
Well, that was smart.
yeah, so that people might have had an idea of how this works for them, so
Perfect.
that so that if they didn't see what I was seeing, they could then check in, "Oh, am I hearing it? Am I feeling it? Am I, what else is happening here?" Because the way I do it isn't the only way to do it, of course. So, yeah. Um, why don't we look at the questions real quick before I go to the rest of it? Um,
So White Dragon says, what do you know of astral travel and bilocation?
I
How
don't know.
they relate, or um um
Is
I
he
don't
re-
know anything about
I
bilocation.
I
is
think
he referring to you being in two different places at one time?
Mhm. I
yes.
Well,
think
if
so.
you're astro traveling, you actually are, aren't you? You're
Two
where you
different-
are and where you're going
Your
to.
astral body is the one that's
So you're
traveling.
actually in two places anyway.
Yes.
Now, are you saying that you want to be a third place at once? I think you could be if that's what you wanted to work on doing, because we all are. I think it was shards, but that's not what
fractals.
fractals, and we can
Mhm.
always put ourselves in more
Another
fractals
fractal. 'Cause
to
it's
go to
unlimited.
another place, but we're still it's still attached to your fractal. So
I think it
yes, you could do that. You probably have to work at it,
Yeah,
but I can't think of any reason you can't do it.
I think bilocation is similar to the remote viewing as well.
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah,
And I think this is the challenging part of spirituality is there are uh, uh, definitions and terms that are, they blend, and they're
Yeah.
it's just depending on your experience and what you mean by that, and how it relates to what you're doing. But I think it's all, in that same subject, the big subject.
yeah.
But
Bilocation. This just happens to be a definition, the first Wikipedia, so take it for what it's worth. Bilocation, or sometimes multilocation, is an alleged psychic or miraculous ability wherein an individual or object is located in two distinct places at the same time.
Oh, an object. Sort of
Interesting.
like one time somebody had a pen that they knew they left their pen upstairs, and we were like in a lower level of somebody's home, and then they looked on the ground and their pen was on the ground. So they said that the pen bilocated. So when you said an item,
Okay.
or
Mhm.
that's what that reminded me of.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I could see with that being a test, if they're saying find this object in two different places at the same time, they could do that. But most of the things that you talk about, I feel you can do.
Anybody can do.
Anybody can do
With
if
the-
that's what they want to do.
Mhm.
I think so. Yeah. So thank you, ladies, because
Thanks, White
I
Dragon.
don't know that much about
I don't either.
bilocation.
Afraid I don't, because I would have thought bilocation would be the same thing as astral travel. Your body's here and you're over there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Amanda
Amanda.
Carroll says, she says, I wonder if I've been going to the fourth dimension in dreams. A lot of challenging situations and people appearing. Some pass, some not, even just jumping off cliffs to safety.
Wow. Sounds fourth dimensional to me.
Sounds like you're very adventurous and like having to do those things.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like you could take a spiritual journey pretty easy because they
Yep.
have me off a lot of things. So
And I think this is where astral travel begins, or a lot of people find that it begins, that they've had a dream and it was really real, and that they knew they were there, and it was like a physical reality to them in their dream. It's like an astral travel in your dream.
Right.
There's another term that's similar to that, astral projection. There's astral travel and then astral projection. And I think they're similar too.
I think they're exactly the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Astral.
Wow.
That's my understanding of them. But who knows? Because we all have so many definitions for everything these days.
I know.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but my understanding is they are exactly the same.
Yeah, because when I did the little research for this, I kept coming up with astral projection and out of body experiences being the exact same thing. But
they are. That's what well, at least that's how I understand it. But then I learned most of my knowledge through William Buhlman that wrote about his out of body experiences. And so that's my frame of reference. So that's how I know it. I'm sure there's other ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So the next question or comment I see here is, hi, Vibin. She says, I've experienced spontaneous OBEs during teenage years and late 20s. It freaked her out. But when I started learning to meditate, I started taking off to the stars. I love this topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's cool.
I remember when I was a kid, I had an out of body experience. I'm sorry. Anyway, and thank you.
It's fizzy water. Sorry.
If it'll stop it, that's all that matters. Anyway, I had been to the animal hospital because I had a dog that had been taken there. And when we talked about it, all anybody else thought was that I had a vivid imagination.
So you astrally projected into that.
I could describe the when I went to go to work there, everything was exactly like I thought it was.
Wow.
Exactly where I thought it was. So it was the same as the dream. I know it was there.
Wow.
But it was treated as, got a good imagination. So I'm sorry that it scared you. I guess the put down on it took care of any kind of scaring on me.
Wow. Go ahead, Jean.
There's just let me know if you want to continue with questions or comments.
Sure.
Lisa Rhodes said, I've tried to do that with a friend in Ireland, but it's too far. What would you say to that, Terri?
She was talking about journeying with her friend. That one.
Oh yeah, it's not too far, because what I do know about these journeys, space and time do not matter at all. In fact, the last group one that I went on, we took a ley line dragon that showed up in Ireland. So I'm in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, but the ley line dragon took us first to the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. I thought it was in Scotland, but it turns out it's in Ireland. And we
been there.
Yeah,
we started walking up the causeway together, and then suddenly it started rising out of the air, and it was a dragon. And the dragon ley line then took us on a journey. But it was fine. We were the people going on this journey. We were doing it by Zoom, and they were all over the world. But
everywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter where they're at. They can just go. Jean and I are on opposite coasts, but we can go. And sometimes they start us in different places. It's wherever they want to start the journey at. That's the other thing I should mention. At least in my journeys thus far, I don't decide where we're going or how we're going there. When I've been doing it in groups, I have asked my guides and angels to please, at least a half an hour before we're going on the journey, give me one hint, either how we're going to get there or where we're going. But give me a hint so that I'm not standing in front of a bunch of people with a blank head. I know where we're going at least.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's not too far. You can go. You can do this with your friend. You can.
For sure.
Great. So High Vibin says, sometimes I take a look at myself. This was when you were talking about what you were wearing. And she said, sometimes I take a look at myself in an astral and I'm an ET body or just a ball of light. Like Priscilla was saying, she thinks she's just energy, or she
Mhm.
feels sometimes she's just energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think that that's probably true of all of it, that maybe even when I'm looking down at my own body out there, they're probably just showing me what's comfortable. I have a feeling we're all just big old balls of light out there. And
Yes.
I have been on journeys where I spoke to somebody or talked to them. They were just a big ball of light, but somehow I knew them.
But you know that ball of light. No, isn't
Yeah,
that bizarre?
yeah. So, yeah, that's really cool.
Amanda
Yeah.
Carroll says, I bet those people are still thinking about their journey when you were talking about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
It continues. It doesn't stop sometimes.
No,
It
it doesn't.
continues. Yeah. Yeah.
I
It can.
yeah, I find I can go back to journeys and kind of replay it in my mind and see more or hear more. Um, and then sometimes, like for instance, Jean just was before this show was listening to one of our journeys that we had taped, and then she um, reminded me about the gifts we got and how that they started, and I had completely forgotten that part. Um, sometimes, yeah, sometimes, especially if it seems like we're in the part of the thing where we're channeling the being, I don't always remember that. Um,
It's fascinating. It's just
It really
fascinating.
is.
yeah,
You guys need to get with Terry and go on a journey. It's really fascinating. It's really it's so energetic to me, and it's just so real. It's we are all I feel as though it's the soul vibration that we all carry inside of us. We tap into that and then we use
Mhm.
that to travel. It's just so
Definitely.
it's just so much fun, and it really raises your spirits, so to speak, and your energy, and really just melts everything else away. That I mean, it really is just an excursion and a journey. It's beautiful. So
Well,
I
and you really feel a lot of love while you're on that journey. That's
mhm,
one thing you haven't really mentioned, but you feel a lot of compassion and
mhm,
love from whoever is taking us and whoever we speak to. So
mhm,
it really feels it's a warm fuzzy for me.
right.
And
Yeah.
and any time I have done any astral journey, I have never felt afraid of anything I've been going into.
Yeah.
No, I have no
Never.
fear whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
it's your intention. It's how you set
Mhm.
your intention. I have two more. Did you want to do them now, or do you want to finish and then
Um,
come back?
I think I want to go on just a little bit and then come back to it. Um, so the gifts, I just had one little thing I wanted to add to gifts. Some people feel very strongly that you should always give a gift if you get a gift. And if you feel that way, then before you go on a journey and before you intentionally go on a journey, maybe imagine a little gift in your hand, something small that you could give them in exchange. I do know that on one journey, um, it was to the Buddhist temple in Japan, and they had us manifest by writing on these prayer cards. And when we came back, we got the prayer card back with a little gift. And as I was taking it, I kind of had my hands in the folds of my robe and I found a little coin. Um, and I gave that as a gift. And in fact, I think everybody on the journey some people found it in their sleeves and they gave back a little gift. So that's something that some cultures feel strong about that. I at first
Makes
when I
sense.
went on journeys didn't think about that, but that's something good. Why would you go on a journey? Well, learn more about the other side, This is like a little peek over into our greater existence. It's always fascinating.
It
And you
is.
learn, learn more about yourself too. Who you are, somewhat about what you're capable of. You can do it just for fun. It can ignite your curiosity, your sense of adventure, and it can be empowering to,
All those things for sure.
yeah, it helps you recognize your own gifts. That's one thing that I think that I hope that is coming across here, that when you go on these journeys, there is nothing out there belittling you. There's nothing saying, oh, you poor little dumb thing. It's actually honoring your spiritual
Mhm.
abilities, the fact that you are an eternal soul, that you are always there. And so it really helps you do this. And it really, I think it helps your growth a lot because they present new concepts all the time that they may actually be old concepts, but they're presenting to me in a new way that I can finally understand it. Like, oh, that makes so much sense now.
Yeah,
You
for sure.
know, is it safe? So, this is what I do know. I have never felt unsafe out there at all.
Yeah.
You are always in control. Um, this is your journey, and you get to control it or kind of not control it. Um, One thing is, if you're ever in a journey with someone, me or anybody else, or going on your own, if you feel unsafe or scared, just open your eyes,
Open your eyes. It's simple.
and you'll just come out of the journey. Now, I can journey with my eyes open or closed, it doesn't matter. But
Yeah,
when you're
that's what
newer to it, just open your eyes and you're kind of done. Um, because when I'm in a journey, I'm in a light trance. Sometimes the people on the journey are in a trance, and I don't have a problem going back and forth in and out of a trance, but some people might. In the water journey that Priscilla's been talking about, I learned something completely new called the psychic blink. So one of the members of the journey had a scary experience where that at first, just for a moment, she saw a shark coming towards her with its mouth open. And she was scared for a second. But her guide was with her and said, just blink. Now, they didn't mean open her 3D eyes. They just meant psychically, just blink. It's not real. You don't have to see that. And so she did the little blink with her spiritual eyes, and it was gone. And she felt completely safe and in control. So you are in control in multiple ways. You can
Mhm.
actually open your eyes and quit the journey. You can do the psychic blink and make it go away. You can even just say out, inside the journey, saying, I'm uncomfortable with this. I don't want to see this. I don't want to be part of this part. And they will honor that because they're trying to, teach you something new. Um, let's see. You can always pray in protection before you go as well. I generally do that, even though I feel perfectly safe. Um, and the last bit is how to do this. How do we do this?
The $1,000,000 question. I think that is the last question. How
Is
the
it
hell can I get one?
right?
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
that's perfectly fine. How do we do it? So to me, this happened organically, just through meditation, which does seem to, when you think about meditation, you think about trying to blank out your mind and do nothing. So it seems to be the opposite of that. But I did have to start with nothing at first. I did had to learn to blank out and then go. So you can do these on your own. You can practice the meditation. You can go on a guided journey. There's lots of guided journeys on YouTube that you can go with.
Oh, I've never done that. How
Yeah.
fun.
I would choose somebody and like Danny Shea. Danny Shea does these journeys, and Medium Kim does them, and they're very safe. They're really, really cool. You can go with me. You can book me to just go on a journey rather than have a reading. But I will say you can kind of get a 2-for-1 there. You can kind of
Yeah.
note what you want to learn. And generally, they'll take you.
Truthfully, if you book a reading with her like I did, you get to go on a journey anyway. You'll get a reading, but you get to go on a journey.
Yeah, I would say, but it does depend. So a lot of times when people book me for an hour, I would say about half of them do get to go kind of on a journey and half don't. So it does have a lot to do with your own spiritual comfort levels or abilities. Um, I do, if people are more spiritually adept, they probably are going to go on a journey. There's times they get to go on a journey when they are not even expecting it. Like poor Heather, we were practicing one time with Jean, we had a practice group going. I got paired with Heather, and we were prepared to read each other. And my guides were like, nope, there's a message for Heather on the water, on Sirius B, the water planet. And we went immediately so they could give her a message that was important.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Always fun at playtime with Terri, that's for sure.
Yeah. There are requirements, and the requirements start with one of my favorite phrases that Terri has taught me. And one of the requirements is for us to suspend our disbelief. That's a huge requirement. And this is what they need you to quiet down when they want us to quiet our mind for meditation. It's that analytical mind. It's that left brain that wants to, figure out what's for dinner and how many loads of laundry and what time you have to pick up this person. That's the part they want to quiet down. They want you to open up the right brain where your creativity, and allow the spirit guides to come in and give you messages and suggest beautiful, tranquil, like a little waterfall or a little trickling water, and just, the sun glistening and the little green leaves around it, and then just focus on that. And that's something in your mind, but it's something that is creative, something that opens up and allows, and then you would hear a message. But you have to really get that relaxed feeling so that you can get into that imagination. And it's the left brain that they want you to turn off. So it's suspending your disbelief and trust.
Right.
That's beautiful, Jean. Thank you. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And we do that every day. When you watch television, you're suspending your disbelief. You're believing you're there. You're watching. That's it. When you read a good book, you're suspending your disbelief and believing the story. It's the same thing. Yeah. Thanks, Jean. I always forget some of these sayings I have.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Terri.
What are some of the other questions?
Do we have any other questions? Or are we good?
Was that the end of the presentation?
That's kind of the end of the presentation. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Well, if you guys have something to add.
Well, we do have a couple of other questions and comments, but it's up to you.
Yeah, let's look at them.
Okay. High Vibin is very active in the chat today. She says, do you meet a guide during your travels while going into meditation alone? I usually have a guide, like before she goes into meditation, we establish a guide that comes with us every time we go, but then we meet other beings while we're there, and who then teach us or show us or provide us with gifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So It's
Yeah,
a
I
little
think it
bit
can
of
happen
both.
both ways. I think our guides are always with us. So even if I don't call them in, or they're going to be with me anyway. And I think they're there helping us on the journey.
Oh, I think so too. I think our individual guides are with us, making sure we get whatever message we need in your journey. So
Mhm.
they're working in concert with yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, when we do spiritual work and psychic work, we have a team that is agreed to work with us at all times. And I'm really sorry about the glare coming in. But so the next question is from White Dragon, and he says, "What is the purpose and objective for these journeys?"
Oh, I think she covered that with her
It,
list.
Yeah.
it all depends on whoever's on it and what they're wanting. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One, you
Yep.
can really get down to the nitty gritty of what it is you want to experience. When you're going with a group, you can somewhat, but it's kind of happens at being part of a group.
right.
I think it's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes it just seems to be for fun, and then
Cool.
but there's always some education. I always learn something every single time. And
Sure.
then others who have gone on the journey and shared with me what happened, they're like, Terri, I got to process this for a while. I learned so much that I'm not sure I can just tell you one thing, so
I
definitely
love that.
it's for your spiritual health a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like
I think,
spiritual vacation.
Yeah, I would definitely say for my spiritual growth
yes.
and just the skills that I learn, the skills that I'm reminded of. I'm mostly reminded, and it's not like it's something new that I'm trying to, always understand. It's almost like, remember when we did this, and you're like, oh, that's right. I can, like, oh, that's right. And you guys are there. And that's what I hear all the time. It's like you're almost like remembering, and it's like a refreshing of information that comes through. And it really does elevate my spiritual practice, the skill set that I have and that I rely on every day. And it actually gives me, it's like shores it up. It gives me a stable footing to know that all of that experience that I've had, I carry with me when I do all of my readings. I carry all of that with me. So it just strengthens your spiritual practice and your spiritual growth.
Right.
And the gifts aren't bad either.
For me, I
The
just
gifts
want to,
are always so interesting.
yes. In fact, I didn't mention one thing that's been happening interestingly out there is sometimes I'm meeting people's higher selves out there. And
That's true.
I know. So it's very interesting because we know we don't trust ourselves sometimes.
Oh, that's
And
crazy.
it's really interesting to do that and to meet some people. And yeah, I just have to, exactly what Jean said, just you learn, you remember some of the things you forgot, you remember things that you probably knew as your higher self,
Sure.
that
Absolutely.
you so it would that be future memory or past memory? I don't know, but you're remembering things that you know
Right.
and putting them into action. And it has helped me in other readings. Like if I'm trying to read somebody and it's been a little bit difficult, it then sometimes I've had pre-knowledge in one of these journeys that it's going to be a little bit difficult, but it's going to work out. And because I know it worked out there, it's going to work out.
Right.
And it kind of gets you past that little difficulty.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then sometimes they give us things to, like one journey that Jean and I went, we got this wheel, like a spinning wheel, like to turn wool into yarn, it's like a spinning wheel for me. And if I'm not feeling it, if I'm not spiritually in the mode and I need to get that vibration up, they have me whip out the spinning wheel and spin it,
It's like a generator.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
I
Yeah.
know it is.
An energy generator. Oh yeah, we should all have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love spinning wheels too. I think they're amazing.
I think the other thing is that when you get these gifts, they never end. That's another thing that is so important. I have these backpack full of gifts, and when like I have this one cape, and what the cape does is it removes repetitive thoughts. So if you are having thoughts that bother you, that don't allow you to grow, or they shame you,
Mm-hmm.
this cape removes those. Now,
Ooh,
I
that's
don't,
lovely.
yeah, I don't remove those, but when sometimes they want me to throw the cape around somebody in a reading. And a lot of times what happens is then the angels do things and the thoughts are driven out. And a lot of times when that happens, I also leave the reading and leave the cape with the person. But the next time I need it, it's still in
It's
my backpack. So, I think they get the cape and I get the cape,
cool.
they're unlimited, unlimited.
That's
It's so magical.
Such amazing experiences.
And it's real, you guys. I'm telling you, it's more real than this. It really is real. Magic is real. This information, this experience, the information, and the vibration, and the feeling of love, the feeling and the vibration that we experience there is just amazing. It really is. It really is. I
Yeah.
can't say enough about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I highly recommend going on a journey with Terri anytime you get a chance. When she said she was doing it for free for practice for that group, I was like, I'm in.
Here.
I missed one, and that was it was terrible. But I got two or three in. Three
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Which I really thank you for doing that. It really, really helped me get the confidence to do it in
Oh,
person.
I'm glad it helped you, but I'm sure it helped all of us that got to experience it too. So that was fun.
Yeah.
And we've been practicing for over a year. I mean, this isn't something that developed, just in one experience. It's
Oh no.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
It takes time to build that trust. So I think that High Vibin had one other comment. She said, letting go of fear is important. Take your time, surround yourself with love that you are, divine love. Fear cannot exist where there is love. That's
There you
beautiful.
go. That's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
thanks everybody in the chat room for contributing too. We really
Yes.
love having your comments and sharing your experiences with us. It's fantastic.
And go try it.
And
It's
try
fun.
it. Yeah, go
Yeah.
try
You'd be
it.
surprised where you'll end up.
Mhm.
I have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terri, thank you so much. You guys, if you want to know what the next shows are coming up, they're all in the descriptions of this video. And each one of the videos, it has the dates and who's going to be giving the talk for the day, or the subject for the day. And next time will be Terri Lee. What is her
Your visionary psychic medium.
medium? She'll be leading in on April 3rd, excuse me, at 4 p.m. Eastern, our usual time. And hopefully Joan will be back for the next show as well. But
Right.
this has been so informative and fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jean.
Well,
Especially
thank you.
for your chat room expertise.
I figured I would handle the back end here while you guys lead.
We're all learning how to do this wisdom circle together because it takes a village. It
Yeah.
truly does. And I hope you guys in the chat are enjoying it as much as we are getting together and talking about different subjects. And the next one is, what is a soul? So that's going to be interesting.
Right.
Anyway, I guess it's time to say goodbye, and thank you for coming. And I hope you'll join us again next month. And ladies, thank you so very much.
And remind everybody to send out all your love everywhere. The whole world needs it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the world itself and yourself.
Shine your light. Shine your light out there.
Yes.
Shine your love, because it helps the entire planet and each and every one of us. And especially aim it at those people you're not that crazy about, because you know what? They need it more than anybody.
And if you did enjoy the show, please share, subscribe,
share it with your friends, and come back for the next time, will you?
Yeah, thank you, each and everybody who are here. I saw a couple of friends from Facebook pop through, and a lot of our community members. Thank you very much for being here. It made all the difference in the world.
It does make so much difference to know that you're out there and you're watching and participating. We just love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all. And thank you, Terri, so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.